If you're watching this live, I want to start with a number that should genuinely bother you. By the time someone hands you their resignation letter, they made the real decision to leave weeks, sometimes months before that moment. The letter isn't the decision, it's just the paperwork. Today, I'm going to show you exactly where that decision happens, why almost nobody managing people is trained to see it, and what to do about it. And stick around because at the end of this, I'm announcing something I've built that's free, but only for a short window. Hey everyone, I'm live across LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube right now, so drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I'll shout you out as I see you come in. For anyone who doesn't know me, I am Swati Mukherjee, and this is Swati Speaks. I spent 15 years in corporate HR before I became a coach, and I write a newsletter called Proximity about the relationships inside organizations that quietly decide whether people stay or go. I care about this one more than most, if I'm honest. In 15 years of HR, I sat through more exit interviews than I can count. And almost every single one followed the same script: a polite, forgettable reason, like a better opportunity, a shorter commute, personal reasons, while the real reason never made it onto the paperwork. At some point, I started paying closer attention to what actually happened in the months before those conversations. That's what today is about. Today's topic is what I call the invisible exit. By the end of this, you won't look at a surprise resignation the same way. And if you manage people, you will have a completely different answer to why they actually leave. Nobody tells the new managers this, but nobody actually quits in a single moment. It happens in three stages, and almost everyone managing people only sees the last one. Stage one is quiet doubt. Something happens, they get passed over, a comment lands wrong, a one on one gets cancelled for the third time in a row, and a small thought shows up. Maybe this isn't for me. Nothing in their behavior changes yet. This is the stage where a 5-minute conversation fixes everything. And it's also the stage almost no manager notices because on the surface, everything still looks completely fine. Stage 2 is quiet withdrawal. The doubt didn't get addressed, so it hardened. They stop raising their hands for stretch projects, they do exactly what's asked and nothing more. In meetings, they nod instead of pushing back. They stop staying that extra 10 minutes. Most managers read this as someone settling in or just busy this quarter. It's the opposite. They've already started leaving. They just haven't told you yet. And honestly, most of them are hoping you'll notice before they have to say it out loud. A few things I'd ask you to watch for if you're managing people right now. Someone who used to volunteer for the client call and now waits to be assigned. Someone who used to message you ideas at odd hours and has gone completely quiet. Someone whose one on one used to run over and now end early every single time. None of these looks like a crisis. That's exactly the point. Stage 3 is the one everyone sees: the resignation letter. But by then, you are not managing a decision anymore, you're managing an exit. And exits can be expensive. Depending on the role, replacing that person can run anywhere from half to double their salary once you count the cost of lost productivity, recruitment, and the months it takes for someone new to get back up to speed. I think about Nadia, an HR director I worked with. She had a senior analyst who went from the loudest voice in every meeting to someone who just agreed to everything. She assumed he was maturing, getting more measured. Well, 6 weeks later, he resigned. In the exit interview, he said one line that stuck with her. I stopped disagreeing 4 months before I stopped showing up. 4 months of runway and nobody used it. Sit with that for 1 second. The runway exists every single one of these situations, and almost nobody uses it because nobody ever taught the people managing them what to actually watch for in stage 1 and stage 2, or what to actually do once they notice it. But I also want to give you the other side of this because it's not all cautionary tales. I think about Leah, a manager who read about this exact pattern and decided to test it on her own team. She noticed one person had gone quiet in stand ups over 3 weeks. Instead of waiting to see if it passed, she asked for 15 minutes and just said, I've noticed you've gone a bit quiet lately. Is everything okay? And is there anything I should know about? It turned out the person had been passed over for a project they'd asked for twice and had quietly decided it wasn't worth asking for a third time. One conversation later, they were back on the project. That's the entire difference between stage 1 and stage 3. One conversation caught early enough to matter. And I want to be honest with you about something. The standard advice here is communicate more or build trust. And that advice isn't wrong. It's just that it's useless without a system. Nobody hands you a script, nobody tells you which conversation to have this month with which person and what to actually say in the first 30 seconds. That gap is the whole reason I built what I'm about to show you. So, this is exactly the gap. And I'm genuinely excited to tell you about it live for the first time across all three platforms at once. This week, I'm launching the Professional Proximity Blueprint completely free. I don't love vague announcements, so let me tell you plainly what it is. It is an online program, and every month, one new course unlocks, built around a single specific topic. Inside each month's course, we get two things: a conversation guide, a real low pressure script for opening the exact conversation you've been meaning to have with someone on your team but haven't quite known how to start, and a workplace challenge. One concrete action to actually take before the month ends. Not an idea you nod along to and forget. Something you can do on a specific person by a specific date. Month one is called the Attrition Mirror, and the first course opens with the coffee conversation guide, the exact script for having one real conversation with someone on your team this month. And it keeps going. 12 months, 12 short courses, working through the issue that is actually driving people out of the door. I'll be honest about who this is for because it's not for everyone. It's for the manager who suspects some of their best people are quietly checked out and wants to catch it before the resignation. It's for anyone managing a team who's tired of culture living in handbooks instead of in their daily behavior. And it's for someone willing to come back monthly, even when the weeks even on the weeks then nothing's on fire. And if that's not you, that's genuinely okay. It isn't your thing. That's okay. If you're the kind of manager I just described, drop a raised hand in the comments right now. Wherever you're watching from. I want to see who's out there. Now, I want some I know what some of you are thinking, because I think it too. I already have too much on my plate. I don't have room for one more program. That's exactly why I built this way. It's not a multi week course, it's a one short course a month, built to get through in a single sitting. If you can't find one sitting a month to keep your best people, that's a different conversation. And if you're watching this and thinking, I'm not actually anyone's manager, I'm an HR or L&D, and this is still for you. Everything in the blueprint is built to hand straight to your managers, month by month, without you having to build a single piece of it yourself. Now, for the part with the deadline. So, stay with me for a second. This is completely free, no cost, no catch. But I'm only opening this founding round to people who joined before 1st September 2026. After that date, I'm closing the door on this round. I'm keeping this first group small on purpose because I want to actually read what people send back to me, not disappear into a list of hundreds of names. So, quickly, before I go, three stages: quiet doubt, quiet withdrawal, and the resignation letter. The fix isn't communicate more, it's one scripted conversation a month with one specific person at the stage where it still matters. If you want in, just drop a blueprint in the comment. If you're watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, thank you for being here live with me today. Have a great, great week ahead.